All right, today's video we're going to be looking at how to change the lever blade on a Shimano XT. It could be any Shimano hydraulic brake series brake levers. The Shimano series are great brakes, they're good stopping power, and they use the mineral oil. But the levers, the lever blades themselves are crap. They're made basically of cheese. And this bent, not even from a moving accident. It was stopped in a tricky part of the trail and the bike fell over and bent the brake lever back like this, rendering it almost useless. So fortunately I've got a spare lever and I'm going to show you how to replace that in today's video. So to get started, you want to find this hole on the back side of the blade. It might be an exposed screw, but it also might have a rubber grommet on it. Mine's got the rubber grommet on the top of it. So we need to punch that out or get that out with a tiny screwdriver or something of that nature, a pick. Set that aside for later. And then you'll have exposed the retaining screw that's down in there. So now you're going to need a 2mm Allen key. Just insert it down in there. And remove that screw. You probably don't have to take it all the way out, but you just want to make sure you can do that. Its purpose is to lock this pin that keeps the lever blade on there from coming out. Now, before we get going, you want to make sure you take note of the spring position in here so that you can come back to it later on, noticing how that spring is set up. Alright, so once you've got that screw out, now we're ready to take the pin out. So I've just got a small Allen bit here. They're just going to push from the bottom. It is directional, so you want to make sure that you keep that in mind and just push from the bottom. And you can see there, they came right out the top. You might have to get some pliers or something to help you get that out, or a longer tool. There it is. Take that and set it aside. And then your lever should just slide right out. And you want to be mindful of that spring, remembering that it does go in there a particular way. And so we want to make sure that we get it back in there the right way. I'll show you how to do that when we start putting it back together. So if you haven't already, now would be a good time to clean this up. Using a paper towel, rubbing alcohol works really good with brake parts because it doesn't leave a residue and evaporates out of the small parts. So see if there's anything in there that needs to be taken care of before you get going. So now come to really the trickiest part of this operation. I'm going to show you the difficulty here. You have holes here on the lever blade, then you've got holes here on the pivot mechanism, and those two holes have to line up. Those two holes have to line up like this. But then while you've got those two holes lined up, then you've got to get it to line up in here like this. And then it's going to interact with the braking mechanism. So it's kind of a magic trick trying to get it all to fit together. And then you have to add the spring in there as well. So I'm going to show you how to do this and hopefully minimize your headaches. So to get started, what we're going to do is try to align these holes here and insert the pin and just gonna have to play with it till it catches and goes. Okay, so it went in like that. Now, the issue is we don't have the spring in yet. So in order to get the spring in, what we're going to do now is back out the pin so that we can insert the spring on the bottom. I don't know if you can see down in there, but you can see the pin going all the way through. So we're just going to back this, apply it gently. Okay, so when you get the pin inserted and everything's lined up, now it's time to put the spring in there. Now, the spring's got a hook. That hook goes against the body and the loop faces down. So what we're going to do is just slit it in the crack there between the lever body and the pivot. And it's going to take some work, and you might even have to push up on the pivot portion, trying to make some room in there. Okay, so now the spring's down in there, and now you have to put pressure on the pin. We'll keep everything lined up, try to get it to go down in there. And the reason that this gets tricky is that by pulling the lever back, I'm creating tension on the pin that's causing the whole system to get out of whack. And so we can accommodate that by countering those forces. Still trying to put pressure on that pin. And if you let it close like this, the problem with this is that it's going to push that spring out of the way. So yeah, the whole thing's a bit tricky, and you just keep playing with it until you get it. I realize this is boring to watch. I just want you to see that it will go. It just takes some time and some patience to get it to slip in there. There it went. You can see it's all the way down now. Spring's in the right place. And my lever is nice and straight. So now I'm going to flip it over and insert that retaining nut. Pinches the pin in there to keep it from sliding out. And then I've got the rubber grommet that I can put in there. Push it in there, and that then is how you change the lever blade on a Shimano hydraulic brake lever. This is the M8000 XT lever, but the same principle applies to the XTR, and if you go down into the SLX and even the newer Dioras, it all looks the same. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give us a like.